What's good, y'all? My name is Zach Young, and welcome back to Young Money Sports. So the NBA playoffs are underway. The first round is done, and we've seen everything. There have been big shots and blowouts, old and new faces. Hell, we've even seen some players' parents getting involved. But who's moving on? Let's see. Starting off in the West, we got the Thunder and the Grizzlies. I think we knew how the series was going to go after that 51-point shellacking in Game 1. It did get a little more competitive after Game 2, but there was still no shot Memphis was going to win this series. They just had to drive the knife in a little deeper by choking away a nearly 30-point lead in Game 3. They were missing John Morant for almost 2 games, but I don't think that would have changed the end result. Would that have made Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane quit working for Habitats for Humanity? I don't think so. This just feels like a lost year for Memphis. So much hope throughout the year, only to flounder in the first round. Maybe it had something to do with randomly firing your head coach 3 weeks before the playoffs. For OKC, this certainly isn't all they want to get done, but it's a great start. Their defense was smothering, Jalen Williams and Chet were great, and Shea showed up when he needed to. And this sweep will get them plenty of rest against the winner of Nuggets vs. Clippers. Now this was a hell of a series. Tons of competitive, back and forth games, resurgent performances, and the ultimate coin flip known as Russell Westbrook. Not to mention that we got the 2 best words in sports.
We're going to Game 7, baby! Game 7! Game 7!
Too bad for us this game really didn't deliver. Denver pulled away in the second half, advancing to the second round once again. Jokic was still effective, they got some nice games from Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook, and Jamal Murray continued to show us that he doesn't just cook the Lakers. The Clippers are in a strange place, and I really don't see much changing for them. You got a healthy series from Kawhi for the first time in 5 years, which was nice, but it just feels like too little too late. If this could have happened while Paul George was here and good, then who knows where they would be right now. Zubac was still good and held his own against Jokic, but a certain bearded magician decided to perform his signature trick in this series. Now tell me if you've heard this one before. James Harden played like shit in Game 7. Shocking. Incredible to think that there's still people that put this guy ahead of Dwayne Wade. They're probably the same people that believe that Bigfoot exists. Maybe he can show me where James Harden's rings are. Lakers vs. Timberwolves. This is something we're going to see a couple times in this first round. For the most part, there was good, close basketball, yet the series only went 5 games. There were many things you could point to show why LA lost this series, but the biggest one was their lack of a competent big man. When your only 2 centers are Jackson Hayes and Alex Len, you're cooked. This is why we got a Rudy Gobert legacy game and a good playoff series from Julius Randle? Oh god, my narratives are crumbling in front of my eyes. This was also a great series from Anthony Edwards. This dude was able to take over, and he was looking at Luka like he was barbecue chicken. This dude is building up one hell of a resume. Not many can say they've outplayed KD and LeBron in a playoff series. Speaking of Bron, people were trying to say that he may retire, but there's no way. He's got at least 2 to 3 years left in him, and when he does retire, he's getting a retirement tour. But if he wants ring number 5 to be a part of that retirement tour, the Lakers gotta get a big man.
And like everybody know, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Rockets vs. Warriors. Here we go. Another great series and went all the way. Play the clip.
We're going to Game 7, baby! Game 7! Game 7!
Like the other series that went to 7, there were a good number of great games and performances from both sides. Jimmy Butler stepped up his game, and Steph Curry continued to lord over Houston. I don't know what they did to that man. It just seems like he goes insane anytime he plays this team, in the regular season and playoffs. And would it be Warriors basketball without Draymond Green trying to kill someone? With this series win, Golden State becomes just the 7th seed in NBA history to beat a 2 seed, even if it wasn't a massive upset. So, everyone in the Warriors fan base is doing great. Unless you're this dude who got cooked by Tari Eason's mom. That's NBA Twitter for you. For the Rockets, this likely came down to inexperience. Most of their core players were making their postseason debuts in this series, so going against a bunch of guys who had plenty of championship and playoff experience may have been the worst case scenario for them. Şengün could at least tread water, but man, this series was rough for Jalen Green. Besides Game 2, he was non-existent offensively, and that can't happen if Houston wants to get to the next level. Still, this season was a great step in the right direction for the Rockets, and they should be back. They just better hope they don't fail to launch like they did in Game 7. Moving to the East, we got the Cavs and the Heat. Oh lord, it's a massacre! The Cavs get a glorified first-round bye against this sorry excuse for a team. I am fully in favor of abolishing the play-in after this, as long as it means we never have to see anything like this again. It was kinda competitive after the first 2 games, but once the series came back to South Beach, it got bad. Back-to-back record-breaking blowouts, including a 55-point rout in Game 4. This set the record for the largest point differential for a playoff series. You want an impact player for this series? Take your pick. Every Cavs rotation player was on fire, and their bigs were dominating. Pat Riley, Donovan Mitchell sees your Heat culture, and he spits on it as he hits another step-back three. Take the hint, old man. It's over. Pacers versus Bucks. This is a tale of two teams. One has a fast-paced, efficient offense where the scoring can come from anywhere. The other has to deal with injuries, inconsistency, and Kyle Kuzma. Giannis was basically playing by himself in this series. Gary Trent was good, but he can't be your second option if you want to win a playoff series. The Bucks must have sold their soul for that championship in 2021. You can't convince me otherwise. Damian Lillard missed another series with an injury, and now this could be the beginning of the end. Not only for Dame, but the Bucks as well. Giannis could be gone, Dame may never be the same, and they have no control of their draft picks. Things could be getting dark, real quick. Also, it wouldn't be a Doc Rivers team without a late game choke to lose the series. You know, I'm all for celebrating a close series win, but that doesn't extend to players' parents. You could see the gears working in Giannis' head, asking himself, would it be worth it to punch this guy in the jaw? The answer is yes. His suspension was more than warranted, and he's lucky that James Johnson is on his team. Knicks versus Pistons. Just a year after setting the league record for consecutive losses, the Pistons win a playoff game for the first time since the Bush administration. It looked like they could do even more than that, but their inexperience got in the way. There was a bit of questionable officiating, but it's rare that that's the only reason a team loses a series. This was a series that could have gone either way, but unfortunately for Detroit, things just happened to go the way of New York more often than not. Now for most fan bases, a first-round exit full of close losses, bad calls, and heartbreak would be something to forget. But I guarantee that Pistons fans are going to remember this season for years to come. They're finally a respectable team after years of being nothing but a joke. They should be back, as long as they don't get too comfortable. And we'll wrap things up here with the Celtics and Magic. Well, at least the Magic got a game. They also kept it competitive for the most part, which can't be said for the other Florida team. Unfortunately, this wasn't enough to get an edge in this series. Paolo and Franz did all they could, but a questionable supporting cast and Boston's depth did them in. Tatum and Brown were cooking again, and they also got some great contributions from Derek White. They may not look as unbeatable as they did before, but they still kept finding ways to win, which is what championship teams do. For Orlando, this isn't necessarily a bad year, but there's certainly room for improvement. You've reached the tier of playoff team. Now you've got to find a way to reach the contenders tier, and that takes more quality depth, not guys who take the team name a little too literally. So that was the first round of the NBA playoffs. This was much better than last year's first round. There was more drama, some new faces, and a sense that we could be getting some even better stuff next round. I mean, come on. We got Jokic against Shea, Russ going back to OKC, and Jimmy Butler playing against Minnesota. This is setting up to be one of the best playoffs in years. Now it's up to them to deliver. As for my predictions, give me OKC versus Minnesota in the West and Cleveland versus Boston in the East. Let me know what y'all's predictions are in the comments. But that's going to do it for this video. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all later.
Jokic, a miracle shot. The Jokic buzzer is good. They count it. Aaron Gordon